I assume most of you guys have a career. Looking at my comment section, looking at my analytics, I got a pretty smart audience. So I'm going to assume most of you are successful people in whatever you do for a living. I'm going to give you a little bit of advice today. If you want to destroy your career, if you want to ruin your reputation and your image, if you want to damage everything that you have worked hard to build, go imitate Sha'Carri Richardson. Sha'Carri Richardson was literally handed a golden platform, and she is destroying it. This is what happens when you give someone fame and fortune and they didn't have to work for it. Say what you want about Kim Kardashian or Paris Hilton, who kind of started this whole being famous for nothing trend. But say what you want about those two women. What you can't deny, they're both smart. Both Kim Kardashian and Paris Hilton, they are brilliant when it comes to marketing their public image. Now, I'm sure they have good people around them, they have good handlers, but they know how to make money and continue making money. Sha'Carri Richardson was given a gift. When she was suspended by the International Olympic Committee for smoking weed, I came on here and said that this was going to be the best thing that ever happened to her. Before the suspension, no one knew who the hell she was. She was an unknown. She could have went to the Olympics and won a gold medal, and the likelihood of her becoming a mainstream star like she is now is slim to none. I mean, she's in track and field. No one cares about track and field. You could not have asked for an easier path than Sha'Carri Richardson was given. She had her detractors, she had people who weren't supportive, but for the most part, people felt bad for Sha'Carri Richardson. And to her credit, she handled her suspension and the aftermath of it. She handled it with class and grace, professionalism. She didn't turn herself into a victim. She didn't blame the International Olympic Committee. She didn't try and turn her suspension into a racial issue, like some in the woke media tried to do. Sha'Carri Richardson was excellent in handling the fallout from her suspension. The problem is everything that has happened since then. College professors who teach public image, they should make their curriculum on how Sha'Carri Richardson has handled herself the last 6 to 8 weeks, on everything not to do. Everything you can do wrong, she has done wrong. For weeks, she did nothing but hype herself up on Twitter. I'm the greatest. I'm making history. When I'm on the track, people are watching. Y'all gonna be seeing me from behind. All we heard for weeks from Sha'Carri Richardson was how great she was. If you're going to talk like that, you damn sure better be able to back it up. You look at elite athletes, pick a sport, look at elite athletes. Rarely do they do a lot of talking like that in public. They'll talk on the field, they'll talk on the court, but rarely do they hype themselves, hype their greatness in public. How often have you heard Tom Brady brag on himself publicly? Peyton Manning, Drew Brees. These guys are humble. LeBron James, he doesn't talk publicly about his greatness. Michael Jordan didn't need to tell people how great he was. He let his rings do the talking. Most of the time when someone is talking about how great they are masking their insecurities because they're really not that good. Sha'Carri Richardson did all that talking, finished 9th place in her return race on Saturday. She proceeded to make a complete ass of herself in her post-race interview. I told you guys when we talked about this earlier this week that I don't think Sha'Carri Richardson has learned anything from finishing 9th place or her embarrassing interview. Turns out, I was 100% right because now, with the little support she had left, or what little support she had left, she is completely ruined. Allyson Felix was on Jimmy Kimmel earlier this week. Pretty sure it was Monday night when Stephen A. Smith was hosting, who, by the way, I was thoroughly impressed with Stephen A. Smith. I had my doubts with him hosting Jimmy Kimmel, having no comedic background whatsoever. Stephen A. Smith did a good job. I always criticize him for being a race baiter, so it's only fair that I give him credit when he actually does something right. But anyway, The topic of Sha'Carri Richardson comes up during this interview. Allyson Felix was nothing but kind, nothing but professional. She talked about how much Sha'Carri Richardson had been through, how she hoped that she was receiving the support that she needed. Allyson Felix said nothing negative. She said nothing controversial. Normal people, people who don't have their own head up their ass, they would have taken this for what it was, and that would have been that. No big deal. Maybe they reach out to Allyson Felix privately and thank her. That's what a normal person would do. That is not the route Sha'Carri Richardson took. She decides to go on Twitter or Instagram, the platforms for miserable, cowardly people everywhere, and air out her grievances publicly. Quote, encouraging words on TV shows are just as real as, well, nothing at all, end quote. With that point, with that post, the only thing that Sha'Carri Richardson proved is she has a third grade level education when it comes to writing and grammar. That didn't make any sense what she put out. She didn't stop there. She continued posting vague messages about Allyson Felix all week. In one post, she said, only way from 9th place is up. No, that's not true. That is not true. Things can get much worse for Sha'Carri Richardson from here. Matter of fact, they did. Many of her stands on Twitter, people who thought that she could do no wrong, they are blasting Sha'Carri Richardson for going after Allyson Felix, and rightfully so. See, this is the lesson I was talking about the other day that Sha'Carri Richardson did not learn. Most people, they will tolerate a lot from athletes that they look up to and admire. One thing most people will not tolerate is a lack of humility. The problem here with Sha'Carri Richardson, she thinks that she is a much bigger deal than she actually is. She thinks she's more important than she actually is. She hasn't accomplished anything. Nothing. Sha'Carri Richardson, at this pace, by this time next year, she's going to be forgotten. With her behavior, you would think that she has a stone legacy in place. That's not true. She's not an Olympic gold medal winner. Hell, she's not even an Olympic athlete. But she's running around acting like she has the legacy of someone like Tom Brady, the legacy of LeBron James. I would say that she is setting herself up for a big fall, but she's already laying on the damn ground. There's nowhere to fall to. I don't know her family situation, but this is where her father should step in and put her in her place. At 21 years old, she is ruining what could have been a promising career. She is literally flushing millions of dollars down the drain with her behavior, all because her ego is getting the best of her. She is so full of herself, she can't even take a compliment from Allyson Felix. All right, time to let me know what you think. Give me your thoughts on Sha'Carri Richardson and her latest example of immature behavior. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I will see you guys later.